Some good news to start. No reports of any major incidents from the Shield in the last week. There were a few minor skirmishes in the kingdoms. The Inferno smolders as usual. The Green North rages. We have scattered reports of a traveler illegally crossing kingdom borders in mutant territory, but inquisitors have been dispatched and I await further information. Oh, and the wild Baron Sinister made good on the restitution he owed Higher Avalon. He could not resist taunting the Braddock clan on their recent loss. He had a most unflattering statue of Baron James constructed and delivered. I tell you this to simply note that sooner or later we're going to have to give that man the slap he deserves.
Why do you bother with this, Stephen?
What do you mean?
You know full well what I mean. This banality. This tedious record-keeping of minor transgressions.
No more tedious than this disagreement we have had many times, my lord. You know full well why I do it. You are omnipotent, not omniscient. The danger to your throne and this world, the last world, comes from what we do not know.
Yes, but this is a world like any other world of old, full of danger, and we will face such things as we always have, together, and in the order in which they present themselves. I remember all of our disagreements, Stephen, and your reports still concern me little.
You're in a damn tricky mood today, aren't you?
The troubles of gods are infinite and beyond man's understanding. But it wouldn't take a god to divine that. This day, the same is true of you. What is wrong, old friend?
Like everyone on this world, I know that you are God. But unlike them, I remember what was. I remember you and I making all of this, saving what we could, creating what we could not. And when we agreed to disagree, I remember that I could have been God and not you.
And I remember that you did not want it.
I still don't, but I do remember, and know how precious what we have left is, so I guard it fiercely.
Which is why I am not concerned. I do not know everything, but I do know that you are out there, keeping what should be hidden secret, uncovering that which should be known. You have my faith in you, the trust of an all-powerful God, the full favor of doom.
Thank you, Victor.
But of course, so, do we have any other truly pressing business?
Actually, there was one other. Hold on.
What is it?
The unknown becoming known, I'm afraid. Foreboding news from Doomguard. It's worse than I initially feared. We have fallen. Are you sure that in the heat of battle you saw clearly they came out of the vessel?
Yes, Sheriff. I'm sure of it.
You trust your eyes, but I'm not so sure I can trust mine. Something is wrong here, and we must look closer. Once I had another eye, but it was lost some time ago. God Doom saw fit to give me a better one, all-seeing. And what I see here is not of this time, not of this world. And now I also see we are not alone. How many of them were there?
I'm sorry, but I cannot say for sure. More than a few. More than enough.
We've completed our search of the immediate area, Sheriff. 6, maybe 7, tracks leading south away from the vessel.
How far could they have gotten?
According to our young Thor here, this cowardly attack happened less than 2 hours ago. Our brother who fell was mighty, so assume they are fast. Assume they are strong. If they walked or ran 100 leagues, if they could fly 4 times than that.
Call it 500 then. It could be a feint. Take everyone and cover the first 50 leagues. If you do not come across them, split your force and send half my glyph 500 leagues out. Then work towards one another. I know you are angry. I am angry. But bring me someone alive. God will have questions. Are you ready?
I don't know. It's my first day. It wasn't supposed to be like this.
Once, every day, was dark like this. Bringing order to a thing takes great effort and has a high cost. At the shield, there are scores of these, your brothers before you who paid with their lives so that we all might inherit a better world. We will all fall one day. But for you, even in death, you are sentinel. Rest well, loyal son. You have earned it. As for our hidden friend, you can come out now. We are alone. Let's go. Don't make me comment there. Okay, you got me. But, I come in peace, okay? Look, I have no idea what happened or what's going on, but the last thing I remember was sneaking on. You've been aboard the vessel this entire time? Yeah, and like I said, I don't... Who were the others on your ship? It wasn't my ship, and I have no idea who those guys are. All I know is I snuck in trying to figure out what these guys, bad guys because who else dresses that way, were doing in that giant dome. Because like another world had appeared in the sky and the dome opened and... Wait, a world in the sky? Are you telling me you remember?
Did you know there are tales of old, long, forgotten myths of mortals building great towers so they could be closer to God? The stairs are unnecessary, Susan. I would meet you wherever you choose.
It's the strangest thing. I was walking in the great square today.
Alone, I assume. The good Sheriff Strange will have something to say about you. Once again, leaving your royal escort behind.
The sheriff is a bleeding old boar.
He should concern himself with the kingdoms, or you, but certainly not me, as I am not seen if I don't want to be seen, and on the chance that I am, and I'm more than capable of handling myself.
Of course. Forgive me. You were saying something about the square?
The retinues of the upper and lower kingdoms were leaving Doomstadt this morning, and they were singing a song about the man in the sun. Do you know about this?
I have not heard it sung, but I am aware of it. Is that what you are up here thinking about?
If you knew, then why haven't you discouraged it?
Because I had hoped you would hear it and be pleased.
I miss him, Victor.
I know. Still, your brother defied us. I would have struck Jonathan down where he stood, or worse, sent him beyond the shield. But I left his punishment up to you, Susan. You chose to lift him up and bring light to what was a too dark, self-illuminated world. So now he is the sun.
I know I wasn't wrong. He was a dissident, a rebel, and I know that, if he could, he would have pulled me down along with you. But still I loved him, and wanted to somehow honor him.
Honor? You should have listened more closely to the song. They're quite serious. Did you know there are even those who worship him now in the upper and lower kingdoms? It is no small thing to be worshipped, Susan.
There was a time, before all that fuss, when some believed the reason our world had no sun was because you were offended at the idea of something shining brighter than you in the sky.
The idea is offensive.
Oh?
But true, and truth is always the sharpest blade. It always cuts the deepest. Earlier, Stephen mentioned that I seemed troubled. He was right. But the strong man can show very few his wounds. Doom can show only one. Look at me, Susan. I have changed.
I know. And you've changed for the better.
I have told you my secrets. You know I was not always a god. I believed in the rightness of me. Given my gift to shape all of reality, I would make something better than the shapers of old. And yet, look at what it actually is.
We all make mistakes.
You misunderstand. There is no flaw in this world. It is the world I wanted, but my people are restless because I failed to properly inspire them. I am a poor god. I think now that once having made the world, I should have removed myself. Perhaps the gods of old had it right. It is better to be unseen, demanding faith, and beyond being defined by the mundane. I'm beginning to think that in my perfect world, I am the one flawed thing.
Well, I disagree.
And yet, I am flawed. All this power, and still I cannot heal my face.
Your face. Oh, Victor. I remember when we found each other. I remember me choosing you. Not because of how you looked, but because of your mind and your heart. And then to find out what you had done to save us all. I know you better than anyone, and you couldn't be more wrong. You shouldn't remove yourself. You should meet the people in the streets. They understand your perceived power. Show them your real strength. Take off your mask, Victor.
So they can see this?
So they can see what I see. A God with great love for his people.
Where are we?
My sanctum sanctorum, a safe haven from this world and its prying eyes, and a place of remembrance of all that has been lost. God Doom has made a world of many wonders. I have seen mirrors of those I have known, lives lived differently, or even stranger, the unrecognizably similar. For instance, much of what was a place called Wakanda can be found in the Upper Kingdom, both in design and function. When I saw the vessel you found, I was not surprised, but to find that it held refugees from the time before. Well, that requires full understanding. Oh man, you've got another one. Yes, I do, young Thor. If you would, try to open this vessel in the same manner as the last, and with great care, please.
I can try. The Moloid that was. I think I've got it.
So, are we there yet? Because I swear, it doesn't look like we're there yet. Hey! Peter, is that you? Miles? Yeah. No way. How are you here?
For that matter, how are any of us here? The last thing I remember, the world was ending, and you're here. Doctor Strange, a man who disappeared months ago. What's going on, Stephen?
That depends on your answer to the question of worlds. Are you really my Captain Marvel? Or some other universe's version of the Carol I once knew? Better put, am I really who you think I am? Are you really you?
Well, you sound like an idiot, which seems familiar enough.
Even if that were true, are you really the ones who survived?
No, there are a few more of us.
Oh! Cyclops! You've become the Phoenix! The dream is immortal, Doctor. Some of us were made for resurrection, but some of us made it through better than others.
Unbelievable. Is that you, Stephen? Memento Mori?
Illuminatus!
My God, man. It's good to see you. How did you survive the collapse? How are you here? Where are...
It's quite a story. A long one. But you built this raft to survive the end of everything. Amazing.
There were defects, weaknesses. We lost people. Reed, we lost people.
1 second more, and maybe I could have saved them. Minutes ago they were right here, and now I can't even tell them how much Oh God.
Where exactly are we? I have to warn you, this situation we are in, it's more complicated than you might think. It's not just the where that should concern you, but also the when.
What do you mean?
You've been in stasis, gone for quite some time. Well, I think an hour's a long time. I get bored. How long are you talking about? It has been 8 long years. Everything died. But in that moment of death, God made a new world. This one. He constructed it out of the remnants of incursion points between collapsing worlds. Some of what we would call our Earth remains. Most does not. You should know, however, that no one remembers the worlds before. Only this one. How is that possible? It's quite simple, actually. Exactly how well do you remember 8 years ago? Most of it is partial recollections amid moments of clarity. At first, as the world was shaped, it took constant effort to synchronize the new history with the old, but now it's much easier. Especially since God controls the areas of study in the ministries of science. Who is it? Excuse me? God. Who is this God you're talking about? Doom. It's Doom, Reed. Victor saved us all. Stephen. How long ago did you find our raft? 3 years ago. I suppose I knew there was something inside of great consequence, but I had to weigh that against other things. Victor Von Doom is a god and rules over everything in this world, and yet you had to weigh that against other considerations? What in the world could matter so much that you left us here, buried alive, Stephen? Explain it to me! It's easy to explain, Reed. He is very, very good at playing God. Did you notice the sun today? It's madness, my favorite kind, but I swear the sun is orbiting this planet and not the other way around. Fascinating. To say it is a strange land is an understatement, Maximus, but fascinating? Hardly. We covered good ground today, but this wasteland seems unending, a barren nothingness. Tomorrow we should split up, head in different directions. We should have done things differently back at the raft. The yellow peasant class seemed useless, but that Thor, he had an aged look. We should have questioned him. I bet he knew things.
I agree. We should have kept him alive.
There is no need for mercy. No need to regret what was lost.
Oh, really? Because you think if we just muddle along, we'll somehow eventually find the answers to our questions?
No, the answers will find us. I know it.
And how is that, Thanos?
Because I am looking up.